This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace, world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie! What's on What's on your mind?
Don't mind the hat. I forgot I was wearing it.
I like it.
Yeah, doing a little spring cleaning and found a 2300 arena hat that they gave me.
Awesome.
Yeah, just doing good. Yeah, just doing some much needed spring cleaning. I'm in the mood of just fuck it, get rid of it. You know,
I'm the same way, man. Last week I was in here and we're still, like, you can see behind me here too. Like, we bought a new bed frame and we've had it in just sitting here for 2 weeks and we haven't done anything with it.
Yeah.
There's so much shit all over the room. Like, y'all can't see, but it's like chaos back here. It's controlled chaos. It's because the kids are in and out of here, man. Last weekend I was like, fuck this. I am clearing everything out. Oh God, it was a nightmare in here. Hated it.
Yeah, I have a cousin who wants to start a podcast, and I'm like, look, I just found like this. I was sitting here waiting. I found this fucking Zoom recorder. I was like, hey, bro, you still looking? I got this thing here. Take it. Please get it out of my fucking house. You know?
Seriously, man. Seriously. Yeah. It's so much shit that those, like, you don't realize it. It just accumulates over the course of like an entire winter, even, because there's shit that we have in here that has just compounded on itself. We lived here now since 2021 and it's just on top and you're like, fuck, man, I can't even believe this. But thank you all for your patience. I know Meanie put in the chat while we were waiting, I got stuck in traffic because what else is new? And 76, or rather the Turnpike and 202 can suck a giant bag of dicks because it sucks every single week. I love, dude, that was perfect. I love it. That's what 202 and the Turnpike can do. God damn it. So good evening to you all. Mass Sanity is here. Thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate y'all. Good evening, sir. Jesse Brown, Pod Squad member. Don't forget, sign up today at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Tiers start, Meanie, at just $10 Wawa money you can join us for.
Yeah.
Join us each week. Ike Ikerson is here. Hey, Blue and Goob just popped in to say hi. Did you pop in or did you poop in? So good to see you. Stylish lid blue guy taking care of business, Goob. That's right. I'm in my week's my shoot job's finest. Let's see here. Jesse says, oh man, I did some spring cleaning to the house this week and I am much happier now that I did. It's nice, isn't it, Meanie? When you get to just clear shit out.
Yeah, just open all the fucking doors, open all the windows, grab a couple contractor bags and just say, all right. And the good thing I found all my fucking my medical taffies and some medical honey that I have.
Yes.
Edibles.
Yep, I love it.
Also, I found.
What's that?
I forgot I have a Lucha Libre dick pill. Forgot I had.
What is a Lucha Libre dick pill?
No, it's just a dick pill called Lucha Libre.
Hey, whatever.
Your dick will be doing flips.
I was just gonna say, we're not sponsored by Manscaped anymore, but if we were, this would be the perfect place for the ad read.
Yeah.
So keep your Lucha Libre is good. Use promo code MindMeanie. Let's see. Kit Kats is here. Morning, afternoon, or evening, gentlemen. Have I missed any Meanie shit in his pants stories? No, sir. Buckle up.
Give it time.
We're here. Machete Von Kill is here. What up?
Machete.
Thank you.
Hey, it's early. I did eat at the Oregon Diner today, so I'm good for a good bout of diarrhea. So.
Ike says Meanie whips out a Johnson less than 10 minutes in. Classic episode. Thank you, sir, and a pleasant baba booey to you.
Yeah.
And dung pills not much later. That's what we do here. That's the joy of the show. Shackelford's here. Happy Friday, sir.
Shackleford.
What up, my man? Thank you for joining us here. We appreciate you guys. So, Meanie, what's going on, man? Actually, I maybe we'll start at the top like this. I don't know if we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I know that AEW is going to start a residency at the 2300 Arena,
Yeah.
and now there's rumor and innuendo, of course, which is our favorite, that WWE is actually going to be running another show like a week before at the 2300 Arena, and I don't necessarily want to dive in. Oh, go ahead.
Before we get into that, I have breaking news. I texted the 2300 Arena about the NXT show, and it is false.
Really?
Yeah, it's not true.
Wow. Okay. Well, that settles that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's believable,
Sure.
right? With all the counter programming, and look, it's nothing new. But yeah, I saw that, and I was like, that's weird. Let me I happen to know people at the 2300 Arena.
Yep.
Like, yo, is NXT really coming there? And I just got a simple reply of nope.
Wow.
'Cause I'm sure they got a million questions too, but yeah, I heard it, straight from the source that yeah, that's not happening.
That's crazy.
And I found out because somebody posted, and I got tagged, and it was nice that somebody thought of me. They're like, hopefully Blue Meanie's on it. So I was like, let me go check. And that's before we get too far in the weeds on the subject that I absolutely know the answer to,
Yeah.
I want to give you some oxygen.
I appreciate that, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so I appreciate you getting clarity there and clearing it up for the listeners as well. You'll hear it only here first, friends. NXT is not coming.
Yeah, it was definitely a thing of interest to me, living right around the corner, and shit, maybe just stop by just to watch the show and see some friends,
Yeah.
But it's not to be.
Ah.
Not to be.
Well, I know that I guess this past weekend it was Saturday night's main event happened down in Tampa. I wanted to know if you had a chance to check that out and what your thoughts were.
I saw parts of it. Yeah, I was at McCusker's blowing the foam off my medicine. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was nice to see Cody come back. He from his much deserved time off. I mean, he was the workhorse while champion, and had no days off. Take some time off, see the family. And but yeah, the show overall was pretty good. I should have taken notes, but I'm bad, a bad note taker. I'm quite the look at another person's test paper to get the answers sometimes, but yeah, overall I thought it was good. I love Saturday night's main event. I love that they brought it back. I love that they have the old school entrance. I love that they used the old Animotion music.
Yeah.
And, it's just such a great touch all around. There's it's a little bit modern, but a little bit classic all at the same time. I'm glad to see some of the legends they had there at ringside.
Yeah.
Huge mark for Leilani Kai.
Mm-hmm.
So happy that they had brought her in, and Barry Windham and the U.S. Express, I should say. And speaking of U.S. Express, before Hulk Hogan had the song "Real American" by Rick Derringer.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. Express were the first ones to use that in WWE, and unfortunately, Rick Derringer passed away over the weekend.
I saw.
Yeah, I was unaware that he produced like a lot of Weird Al's records.
Really?
Back in the day, he played the guitar solo on "Eat It," and so yeah, because I found out from Weird Al's Instagram, he had a photo of him and Rick Derringer in the studio, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't know, as I'm reading it,
yeah,
I didn't know he produced Weird Al. Then I found, at the end he said he had passed away, and I was like, shit.
Oh man.
And I had just been we went to Metallica on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
So we go to the bar, I'm drinking some daddy sodas. I'm playing the jukebox, and for some reason, something told me just play Real American as a rib, and unbeknownst to me, a couple people in the bar start singing along with it. I don't know if it was like a premonition or what, but you had to find
Wow.
out he passed away 2 days later, and that's probably my
Mm.
fault. But
Yeah,
you know,
that's
you
okay. Yeah,
but
that's it.
rest in peace, Rick Derringer, man. Such a great, underrated rock guitarist. You know,
Yeah, and I made an iconic theme. I mean, you can't even think about wrestling without thinking about the Real American theme song. I mean, it's like if you're a fan, if you were a fan in the '80s or the '90s, it's virtually impossible to think about wrestling without thinking of that song. I mean, it was just
yeah.
as soon as those chords hit, man, you're like, oh, this is going to be crazy. The roof's going to blow off the place. But speaking of the roof blowing off the place, there was some fun thing that Jesse the Body Ventura did during commentary on the Drew McIntyre and friend of the show, Damian Priest, steel cage match. Um, so actually, Mass Sanity asked it here. I want to get your thoughts on it. I don't know if you heard this part, but did you enjoy Jesse Ventura talking about how NBC didn't allow cage matches while he called 2 of them on NBC?
I wasn't aware that he said that. 'Cause like I said, I was at the
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
so I didn't really get to hear much of the commentary. But what did he actually say?
So he said, I think it was something along those lines where they didn't allow cage matches on NBC, but then he was like shitting on the finish of the match because like the basically like climbing out of the cage, and Damien, I think, just walked out of the door, and he
Yeah.
was like, well, that's basically in a nutshell, he said it was basically pretty stupid. And lots of people were kind of losing their shit about that, with Jesse just kind of like going off script again. So
I mean, what do you expect? It's Jesse. You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
I ain't gonna put too much sweat equity into that. But yeah, they did have cage matches on Saturday Night's Main Event back in the day. The famous, one where Paul Orndorff and Hulk Hogan land on outside at the same time, and I forgot what the other one was. But hey, man, I'm sure sometime I'm gonna misremember
Yeah.
a memory from back in the day. But I'll give Jesse some slack. There's plenty of times I thought something was one thing and it turned out to be another, and it's like it is what it is. When you spend that much time in the business, sometimes you conflate a story or just misremember it for somewhere else. I've seen stories where people talk about being on a certain show, and then the wrestling nerds go out there and go, oh, actually you were wrestling in Charlotte, North Carolina that night and not Puerto Rico, whatever, so
Right. Who gives a shit? Yeah, like it doesn't matter.
I don't think Jesse's, I mean, maybe back in the day there was that edict that NBC didn't want cage matches, and maybe they did them anyway, and maybe he just remembers the fact that they fought against cage matches and said that they never had one. So Jesse's had a little bit of a life, between being a Navy SEAL and being a pro wrestler, and then being a governor, and then inhaling Agent Orange when he was a Navy SEAL. It's all that stuff. So
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, like it's look, man, like if you, I'll put it to you this way: anybody, and Kit Kat's is here. If you fuss about what Jesse says, you need your diaper change, and I agree with that. Look, people are gonna fuck up on the mic. It happens all the time. You hear it every week on every show, every live show you've ever heard in your life, every sports event you've ever heard, and sometimes it happens, right? I know that we have Mass Entities in here and said he called Hogan and Orndorff and Hogan and Bossman. That was the other steel cage
that's
match.
the other one where Hogan superplex Bossman off the top of the cage.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Hogan was standing on top rope while Bossman was on top of the cage. And yeah. And I think those were the super fucking stiff rings back in the day.
They sure were. Could you imagine taking that bump back in the day like that?
Dude, I got to work in one of those rings. Like, there's a point where WWE switched over to newer rings, but the rings overseas were still the old fucking rings built for Andre, the reinforcements.
Yeah.
And I did a match in one of those rings, and my God, it was like wrestling on somebody's deck, on their back.
God,
going back out in somebody's backyard on their deck, and just bump on that.
Whew.
You just land and you're like, you know.
I wonder, I know there was some truth, or maybe there's some truth to this. I'm not sure, but I know that I had heard that Vince redid the rings after he started taking bumps. I think it was with Austin, that one match that he had. And he said that the ring was like furiously bad. Like he just said it was the shits. And that's when I think the ring. Hit the button. Hit that blue meanie button.
It's a little needs a little tightening up, but
The Blue Meanie.
yes.
Thank you. Speaking of Vince McMahon, I guess we could talk about that now if you want.
Yeah.
The rumor is that and I don't know how much truth there is to it, but apparently he wants to buy back WWE from TKO. And I saw some news, I think it was this morning or maybe late last night, that he started up as he applied for some new LLC that's called 14th and I, or 14 and I. And I wanted to get your thoughts on the potential of a Vince McMahon repurchase of WWE.
I mean, it's nice to want, but I think TKO is happy having something that just basically prints money. You know,
Yeah.
Right now WWE is just printing money,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it's hard to want to sell something when something's doing so good. You know, but I'm sure he wants to, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Just. And I mean, he still has all this other not nonsense, but all this other distractions going on, with court cases and stuff like that. And I mean, who's going to want to associate with that right now? It's dude, just enjoy your wealth. Go buy an island somewhere and enjoy some time with yourself, man. If I had a couple billion, I would just find a nice cabin in the middle of nowhere with some Wi-Fi and just go out in my front yard and, sip some coffee and just stare into the void because I could, just understand you want to work, but bro, there's only so many years you got left. He's what, 70 something,
He's 79. And I think I was going to say too, I know that we see some stuff in the chat here, but like we don't typically comment on any of the outstanding litigation. But I will say, just because it's there's so much that's going on with it, it's just not our bag, right? But I will say that, like, even if like everything gets settled and everything is done, right? He's 79 years old. You figure this is probably going to go on maybe another year or two, depending on the circumstances and different things with the court systems, whatever. Let's just suppose it's a year. He's 80 years old. That man's 80 years old. And then imagine running a wrestling company in the volume and scope that he did previously until the TKO merger happened. That's a lot to ask somebody physically and taxing. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot to take on at his age.
Just to start up and then find talent, find buildings. I mean, obviously he wants to buy WWE back, and I don't see them giving up that easy.
Hell no.
He'd be better off starting off something, from scratch. But then again, from scratch, how old is he going to be? 86, 90 years old?
Yeah.
I think he's just, it's kind of like that movie, Shawshank Redemption. Once you're out of the prison, you don't know how to, function in normal life, and all he's known is professional wrestling and running shows and having the ultimate say. And now he's back to being a civilian, on the outside looking in at the business. And it's like, what do you do? I mean, I know I would do. Like I said, I'd buy a nice piece of property in the middle of nowhere where, get some Wi-Fi, get some solar panels.
Yep.
Just where you could just fuck off and just be left the fuck alone. And then maybe keep an apartment somewhere. Like, here's my fantasy. I'm gonna win the Powerball, right?
Yep.
I'll get a small apartment in South Philly just to be near McCuskers and the sports events.
Of course.
During the week, I would go out in the middle of fucking nowhere where, your next neighbor is like 2 miles away or something, like that, and just fucking get some solar panels, get some Wi-Fi, and just listen to sports talk radio and sip coffee on my fucking front porch. You know,
How much?
I want to get that Andre the Giant style ranch.
Yes. Yeah, dude.
Alone, you know.
Yep. That was what's so nice about when Andre bought that ranch. He was just like, I could just be me here, you know, and like that's what I want, man. But I'm thinking now that you mention it, watching the sports games in Philly, how much do you think it would cost to buy one of those like sky boxes that are at the stadium? You know what I'm saying? Like just walk in and be like, I have a shit ton of money and I just want to buy this box and I want to paint it blue and I want to come and go as I please whenever I want.
That's got to be a lot of money.
I mean, if you win the Powerball and it's like 500 million, you know?
Yeah. Dude, that would be the life. Or just buy a small stake into the Eagles and you just get access to the owner's box, you know?
That's true. You could do that too because you'd have enough money. So why not?
Jeffrey Lurie just sold like a very small percentage of the Philadelphia Eagles. And just, you know, you get some cash on hand.
Yeah.
Fuck. If I win the Powerball for like close, you know, I think it's up to like $500 million right now, I think.
Let me see. I'm gonna look it up right now. Current Powerball jackpot. And remember, we're recording this on Friday, May 30th at 7:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the current Powerball estimated jackpot is $207 million.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah, do that. You know, and just
you figure you have to say if you're going to take it all in one shot, right? Which you should. You should definitely take the money all at one shot. You figure that's about $100 million after taxes.
I've watched that fucking True Hollywood Story where they're called "I Won the Lottery," and where people wish they had taken the annuity.
Interesting.
Just because they went and blew it all. So, you could get the lump sum and lose a little bit more, but you take that annuity, and if you fuck up, there's still a check next year.
True. That's true.
You know, it's a good way to protect yourself from yourself.
Well, I'm going to do the mathematics on this because now you got me on a roll here.
Before you get all Harry and Lloyd and start buying all of Aspen.
Yep.
On a whim. You know, these are IOUs. These are as good as cash.
Yeah, they're worth their weight in gold. So you figured the annuity is probably like 30 years, right? So if you take 207 million.
I'm 50.
Yeah, listen, you could make it last. Okay, make it last an annuity for 30 years. That's 6.9 million every year. Nice.
Right?
Nice. Right. And you could still buy a nice house, cover all the taxes and everything else and all the purchase fees and everything else and still have a shit ton of money left over for the year. Fuck, if I was making $7 million a year, I wouldn't be doing dick, dude. I would be, and you wouldn't, like, you and probably 3 or 4 other people in the world would know exactly where I was if I won the lottery. I'd be like, fuck this, dude. I'm out.
I would live by the Goodfellas model of don't buy anything extravagant, you know. You're going to take these. I bought my wife a fur coat. You know, you're going to take this back. You know, I'd buy a nice car, enough to not look more above my means, and buy a nice car, buy a nice house. You know, pretend you're making payments on it. You know, oh yeah, my payments are killing me. You know, kayfabe it. You know, work it. You know, so. As soon as people find out, they're going to want, hey, me boss, hey, me boss. How about me boss, hey, me boss?
Hey, I'm your third cousin twice removed on your dad's side. Need a little bit of money.
Dude, I went to, dude, when I signed with WWE, I went on the road. I came home and I plopped my bags down. You know, it's one of those early morning, you're leaving like 6 a.m. and I got home about 11 a.m. and I'm just fucking worn out. I plopped my bags down, sit on the edge of my bed and lay down. And my grandma, who was still there and I was taking care of her at the time, she goes, Brian, Lenny from 3rd grade called. It's like, no, let Lenny go fuck himself. Where's he been since 3rd fucking grade? I haven't talked to that man or that person since third fucking grade.
Yeah, dude, get the fuck out of here.
1982. Tell Lenny to go get fucked.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lenny from third grade.
I swear to God. I wish I knew his last name. I just know
Blast him. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, too funny.
Jesse says that's that fuck you money. Yes, it is, man. $7 million is nothing but fuck you money right there.
Dude, I'd buy a small stake in McCuskers and
I'd pay. Yeah, I would pay their overhead. Just be like, what do you need to pay off your mortgage if one exists? What do you need for your overhead? Here's a check. Have fun. Everything's profit now. You know,
or if they're all caught up, like what needs to be fixed?
Right. What do you need to do?
How can I contribute to my favorite bar on the planet?
Yeah. What can I do here? Yeah.
My favorite people on the planet, you know?
Yeah. Mass Sanity says, I would pay off my car, buy a nice house, and attend more wrestling shows. You know, it's funny. Mrs. Goober and I talk about that a lot. It's like, if we won the lottery, we wouldn't buy one of those big McMansions on the main line or anything like that. Like I want something contained.
That's a waste.
Well, first, like I can clean my own fucking house. Thank you very much. But like also too, like I don't want anything that's crazy big. Like because all you have to maintain all that. There's the bills, there's the fucking heating and the cooling, and you know, what if you have a septic tank? What if you have this? And like I'd rather just buy a house outright, max it out inside the house to give me everything I want, right? And then just live there forever. But I think I'd be concerned about people like Lenny from third grade being like, oh, well, I just know, I need a little bit of cash. And it's like, I don't know, man. I would not want to be bothered, you know?
I don't even know what fucking Lenny wanted, but he could just fuck right the fuck off.
Yeah, dude, fuck all that.
Didn't bother looking me up when I was just Brian from back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, but now I'm on WWE. Yeah, eat my shit.
Yeah. SMD FTB. Mass Sanity says, I would get McCuskers a nice state-of-the-art tap beer system. There we go. Yeah, fucking blow that shit out, man. Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, they're thinking about upping their tap game, you know.
Jesse Brown says, I'd buy land and then build a decent, comfortable house on said land. That's actually, and set my mom up for the rest of her life. That's actually a really good idea. So,
dude, that's why, when I went to WWE, I just told a story recently. Shout out to my boy Chrome from Agree to Disagree Radio. I said, when I was signed with WWE, first thing I did, I went in the living room and told my mom and grandma to put all the bills in my name,
Yep.
My grandma, she passed away 2 years ago, but she didn't have to lift a finger for anything, her or my mom,
It's great.
Just take care of the people who need to be taken care of on the down low, and get a nice piece of land, keep an apartment in the city, have a nice house to get away from the fucking city for a couple days, and go back and forth,
That's what I mean. It's like if I had that kind of money, I would have something in California too. I would just get on a plane and just go in the in the nice warmer months when it's not too humid, something out west. No, it would be the same thing. It would, like, no one would know. Like it would not be public if I was taking care of somebody. Like if I was looking out for my, because the Mega Mind Council, they have kids. Like I would probably fund their like a trust fund for them or something like that, but nobody would know. Like I wouldn't actively advertise that shit. You know what I mean? And it's like it's weird, and it's not for the press. It's just like there. But Kit Kat.
What are we saying there?
Oh, so Kit Kat said Lenny can swivel.
Another thing I saw in that fucking True Hollywood story, I won the lottery. They always say, as soon as you find out you win, find a lawyer and just accept it through that and keep it anonymous,
Yep. Yeah.
That way you don't get fucking scammed and, shit like that.
Butts Carlton Media LLC would graciously accepts the annuity. We just roll it back into this. Could you imagine the fucking podcast studio we would build with $6 million a year?
I've daydreamed about that.
Oh, man.
I've daydreamed about that.
I'd get fucking 8K cameras in that bitch. We'd be looking like we were coming out at WrestleMania.
Yeah. We look like we just scored a touchdown in Madden 25.
I'd pay for us to be at the next fucking Eagles game on the big screen. Here you go, Jeffrey. Here, take a check from us. This is for us to get some exposure here.
Speaking of Eagles game, me and Mrs. Meanie just booked our flights for Wisconsin. We're going to go to Eagles Packers in Green Bay this season. So
Nice.
yeah, it's been one of my bucket list games. One of my bucket list cities to want to go to is Green Bay and see a game at Lambeau. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
sick,
I
man.
have a shout out to I have a buddy out there, Julian Bradley, who I used to wrestle with, and now he's living in Wisconsin. He's like, dude, come on out, and I like took him up on his offer, and we're gonna head out there and spend a couple days out there eating some cheese curds and some drink some beer in Milwaukee. So
Love
it'll
it.
be fun.
I love
Yeah.
it. Kit Kats is also saying pyro for every podcast. Every
Fuck yeah.
podcast, the beginning of the show and the end of the show, because as Jesse mentioned, that's fuck you money. So if we're gonna have that, we're gonna do it. But
that's some fuck Lenny money.
yeah, that's right. Lenny from 3rd grade can in fact swivel on it.
Yeah.
Jesse Brown says, what time of year are you going to Wisconsin?
I believe it's November.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the it's a Monday Night Football game, so we're heading out, go spend the weekend and fly home. So
cool.
We haven't done a road game in forever. So
I'm sure that'll be fun, especially Green Bay.
Yeah, I kind of want to go out there and represent. I know a lot of Eagles fans are going out there for that game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun. It'll be interesting.
That's awesome, man. Did you get a chance, since we're talking about it, did you get a chance to see the Brett Favre documentary? Did you get a chance to watch that?
I have not.
Yeah, I have. I watched a little bit of it. I got started on it, and oh boy, there's a lot going on there. But yeah,
really, is it like a legit documentary, or is this like one of those what kind?
It's not like a. What was the one I watched that was like a total like a sleaze fest kind of thing? It was like very what's the word I'm looking for? TMZ style schlock shit. It was the one about the Gabby Petito murder. I think Dr. Phil was involved in that, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, watching the previews, and it's like, blah, 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 and like you're produced by Dr. Phil, and I'm like, fuck this, this is, I'm not watching this shit.
That's what I meant by like a legit documentary.
I believe it was. I think and someone can fact check me, I think it may have been ESPN, but I'm not sure. But Brett was not involved in the documentary.
So well, if he wasn't involved, then I'll watch.
Yeah, he was not involved in the documentary.
Yeah.
So he didn't respond to any comments or anything else like that. But it's it's eye-opening about the guy. So make sure maybe we'll save that for next week. Maybe we'll talk about it.
A documentary I just watched, we watched over the last 2 nights, me and Mrs. Meanie watched, was the Pee Wee Herman documentary.
Oh man, I heard that was good.
Very good.
I heard that was real good. Very good.
Fucking Paul Roomis is so funny. Like his banter back and forth with the guy making the documentary was really, really well done. But there's so much stuff I never knew.
Yeah.
And there's some really cool footage on there I've never seen, like pre Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubin stuff. And if you're a Pee Wee fan, definitely check it out. It's on Max. And the 2-parter, which it's nice. You can watch part 1, digest it, and then watch part 2 the next day, and then take that in, and then but we watched it, and it was so good. And man, so many memories were about Pee Wee. But one of my favorite memories, and Mrs. Meanie just kind of posted about it today on her social media. Mrs. Meanie's very crafty. She's very arts and craft, and she loves Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Playhouse. We went to saw the play on Broadway or off Broadway, whatever it is, and she made a vest dedicated to Jambi, and she had like she got the shirt printed with Jambi's face on it, and the vest, when you close it, it looks like his TV box.
That's so sick.
So she took a really nice photo with her camera, professional camera, and I sent it to a friend who's a mutual friend with Pee Wee, and my friend, sent me back. It took a while, but he replied back with, the text where he showed it to Pee Wee, and Pee Wee replied just with a smile emoji.
Wow.
And within like a day or two, Pee Wee posted on his social media, on his Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, a photo of Mrs. Meanie with her vest, her zombie vest, with a thing saying "Long live zombie," and gave her social media which is pretty
That's
cool.
so cool, man.
Yeah,
That's so sick.
he was all about artists,
Yeah.
So, watching the documentaries, start getting a little emotional and thinking about that. And we're laying in bed. I look at her, I was like, "You're in his phone,
You're in Pee Wee Herman's phone. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Just let everybody know. My wife's been in Pee Wee Herman's phone."
I was just thinking about when you said zombie. I was a huge Pee Wee Herman fan when I was a kid. Like, we never missed Pee Wee's Playhouse, and even still to this day, I'll walk around and go, "Hey, zombie!" Ha! Just out of nowhere. If I'm at the office, if I'm in public, you never know when you're going to get struck with a Pee Wee Herman voice. But no, big fan of the show. Did they talk about that? Because I want to watch it, but I'm curious. I know there's been conversation for a long time about the falling out between Paul Rubens and Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Did Paul talk about that in the documentary?
It's touched on.
Okay.
It's touched on. There's a lot of things that are touched on. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's touched on in the documentary. It's touched on in part 2. They're like, part 2 has a lot to do with like some of the things that happened to Paul and Pee Wee and stuff like that. Don't want to give too much away. I want people to go in and watch it with a clear slate, know. But he doesn't shy away from anything.
Good. That's what I was curious about, because I know that I know, like, when I watched the Phil Hartman, there was a documentary I think ABC News did about him, and they kind of talked about it a little bit, but it seemed like it was a really kind of glanced over subject. I'm just curious about more of that information, and so I'm excited to watch it, irrespective of any of the Phil Hartman stuff. But I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's a shame what people put him through just to make a statement. Like, there's the one case that was in California with somebody who's a newly elected official wanted to make a grand splash. Yeah, and it was really much to do about nothing. And without going into details, you're just like, these fucking people, man. Yeah. What the fuck? People suck. Yeah. Long live Pee Wee.
Yep. Absolutely. Got a lot of comments in here. Lighten up about Pee Wee. I'm going to go through some of these. I'm going to go back to the top here. Mass Sanity says Lenny is listening right now. He's either thrilled or to be mentioned, or he's crying. I'm hoping he's crying somewhere. But Jesse Brown just says, I tried to watch the documentary about Gabby Petito, but there was too much victim blaming. I turned it off 25 minutes in. Honestly, to be honest, Jesse, that was my biggest problem with the doc, was like, you can watch it yourself and you can make your own judgment calls, whoever's listening. But
that was the girl who was traveling with her boyfriend doing the video blog.
Yeah, and he killed her, and he didn't. And his parents backed him up. It's a really tragic story. But Jesse, that's exactly what my thoughts were on it. It felt one-sided, even though Gabby's family was involved, and it was very, there's a nuance with those types of subjects, and not to dive too deep into it, but there's a nuance to those kinds of things. And they really shit the bed on this. And I was just like, I can't, they're doing this poor girl an injustice. So
there are other Gabby documentaries that are better, just where it, does her more justice than anything. I want to say it was on Discovery ID channel, which is also airs on Max.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's like a couple part series, but I'm trying to think what it was on, but I think it was on Max.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'll look for it. I would like to watch that one just because I'm, curious about the story. But Jesse Brown says the Pee Wee doc was very good. His final words on camera were very touching. Very excited to take a look at it. Shackelford says, crazy that you say that. We paused the Pee Wee doc to watch Mind of the Meanie live.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, sir. A pleasant Baba Booey to you.
And a Baba Booey.
And a Baba Booey to you. Here's JT88 talking about Green Bay. Cheesehead Army going to rub Meanie up against the grater. No, sir. That ain't happening.
They'll buckle like a fucking they'll fold like a cheap suit.
Not on my watch, sir.
Dude, I went to the Eagles-Rams game in LA, and people are like, "Oh, Meanie's going to get beat up," and their fans didn't do shit.
Yeah.
They were, first of all, they were outnumbered. 7-3. 70. It was like 70% Eagles fans in LA.
Yeah.
But and I'm sure we won't outnumber Green Bay fans, but the Eagles fans are going to fucking show up that game.
Yep. Kit Kat says, should the podcast do a word of the day Pee-wee tribute? Yes, actually we can. If you want, we can start doing that. Jesse Brown's got the first word of the day. The word of the day is fart. So I think that's a great idea. Mass Entity says RJ City was a good friend of Pee Wee Herman. He was. Yes, that's
and that was my friend who was the in between. I sent RJ the photo. RJ sent it to Pee Wee.
Nice.
Then RJ sent me the text where Pee Wee just smiled, and then within the next day or two, Pee Wee had Mrs. Meanie on his on all his social medias.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Cody Turbo says, who doesn't still randomly dance like Pee Wee? I'm telling you what, dude. Yeah. Last night we did the dance in the kitchen. If we wouldn't get a hit from fucking YouTube, if we wouldn't get tagged for a copyright infringement, Tequila would be playing right at this very moment. So.
I mean, you hear the song Tequila, and that first person you think is Pee Wee Herman.
That's literally the first time I hear that song. When I heard that song in The Sandlot, my first thought was, hey, that's the Pee Wee song.
Yes.
So, yeah, but
yeah.
Yes, we will definitely start a word of the day here for sure. But Meanie,
yes,
I have a thought, nay, a question.
A question of the day.
A question of the day and a question to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Don't forget to tweet us your questions using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear them on the program. Meanie, I got to know, brother, it's a hot day here in Philadelphia. What's sipping on today, sir?
I have myself a Polar Raspberry Lime.
Nice.
Yeah, that I'm excited to try this one. Raspberry and lime always seem to go well together, so I don't know.
I'm excited to hear because I would definitely try that. So
absolutely.
I got myself a sweaty bottle here. You can see the condensation and the sweat in the room here. For the cheap shit from Aldi, it's the pink grapefruit, which is my favorite. I save one every week for the show. So let's crack these suckers and wet our whistles. In 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah.
Smell, man. Yeah, right. Very aromatic.
Yeah, let me know how it tastes, man. Pinkies up. Cheers, beers, friend. Oh, man. That's good shit.
I like the fizz. Oh, God. Imagine if we drank soda like the way we used to drink, the way we chug beer.
Dude.
People chug beer after beer after beer. Imagine if they did soda. It's just like.
Could you imagine? Did you ever see those videos that people do in the Sprite chug challenge where they're like, and they just belch these violent vomiting burps? Like, oh my God, no, thank you.
Burps.
Yep. Cody's clinking us with cheers beers, my friend. Thank you, JT88. Nice. I love Polar. Drinking a lime one right now.
Cheers.
Rock and roll, sir. We appreciate you.
Just very nice.
Nice and tasty.
Yeah, I wish it was. I didn't leave it in the fridge long enough, but
yeah.
Very good.
Hang on. Let me get my seltzer Sandman style, says Jesse Brown. We got 2 good questions for you this week, sir.
Sweet.
Got a question from Kit Kats. He said, ask Meanie, Steve Blackman. Just Steve Blackman. I think what he's asking is, do you have any good Steve Blackman stories? And what's your favorite?
I love Steve Blackman. He is my favorite. It's like follow him as like somebody with road rage without being in the car kind of thing. But like harmless. Like he had patience for nobody. And I loved it. Like pre 9/11, we go through the airport and it's early morning and you're just trying to make your fucking flight. And he puts his bag on the fucking belt to go through the x-ray machine. And then the person on the other end goes, sir, may we take a look at your bag? He just grabs the bag and goes, no, and walks off. And I'm his personal, like, one-man audience going, ah! And then another time, I get on the plane. I'm in my seat. I got the aisle seat. I'm just waiting. I see Steve coming on the plane. I'm like, I'm watching. I'm just watching, waiting for something, anything. And there's like a elderly man, not elderly, but older gentleman in front of him. Guy, very he's lollygagging, as I like to say it, and to me, there's nothing worse than a fucking lollygagger. I'm trying to, I'm in the supermarket. I need 3 things from the supermarket, and I go down the aisle. There's one guy going, doop, 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 doop. Get the fuck out of my way.
Yep.
So this older gentleman, stops. Please stand still. Slowly opens the overhead. Slowly puts the handle down on his roller bag. Slowly lifts it into the overhead. And Steve was just standing there watching. Slowly takes one arm out of his jacket.
Oh, God.
Slowly takes his arm out of the other side. Starts folding it, and Blackman goes, "Come on!" And me, I'm like his personal one-man audience. I mean, and like one time, Steve offhand said, "I love traveling with Meanie. He always puts me over," or something like that. But there was another moment, and this was in Pittsburgh. And
Attaboy.
They had the fake cops, local indie guys dressed as cops, and one of them had like a fake rubber gun or whatever. And Blackman said, told one of the guys, "Point that at me." So the guy picks up the gun, aims it at Blackman, and he, within a millisecond, slaps it out of his hand and has it turned on the guy. Actually, no, that wasn't even a local guy. That was Bradshaw. Like, he gave the fake gun to Bradshaw, said, "Point it at me." Pointed at him, he went, and we all just stared like, "Holy shit!" Just like, boop.
Wow.
He was literally a lethal. He's got to know where some bodies are buried, bro. Just,
I'm concerned he may have.
Just.
Whew, my God.
He used to be a prison guard, before WWE. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah,
he always just
legit.
I was gonna say you could tell when people were like turning it up for the camera. He never looked like he was turning that shit up for the camera. That just looked like who he was all the time.
Yeah.
My dude didn't play, man. I loved Steve Blackman as a young man. He was good. And then Jesse Brown says Steve Blackman was a bounty hunter after wrestling.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Whew, that's the last person I want to see.
I would not doubt it. And God bless whoever he had to collect from. We
got our last question of the day here from Mass Sanity. Wants to know what's that?
Or collect for. I mean, he's not taking the money from the criminals. He's bringing them in to, collect that bond money. But God bless.
Man, oh man. Friend of the show, Steve Blackman. Welcome to join us anytime. We'd love it. Yeah. Mass Sanity, our last question of the day says, has anyone appeared at the ECW 2300 arena for more promotions than the blue guy himself, Blue Meanie?
I don't know. If there's a record, I might have it.
Yeah.
The only promotion I didn't really appear for was Ring of... Well, no, I did appear... Hold on. No, I didn't appear for Ring of Honor at the arena. I appeared for CZW, ECW, 3PW, Pro Wrestling Unplugged, MLW, Battleground. There was a few others. There was like a couple other independent shows. There was like a documentary show that was on there where they hung my banner for the Hardcore Hall of Fame. But yeah, I've appeared for a few. For a few CZW, I appeared for. I don't know if I said that yet, but yeah, I appear for a few.
Yeah, I always enjoy seeing the banner hung up there as well. Oh, we got another an Ask Adam question.
Oh,
Okay, let's see it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Wait. First, no Meanie shit in his pants stories. This pod sucked. Hey, man, maybe next week. Keep tuned.
Yeah.
My God. Ask Adam, how is it interviewing Sting recently? I actually read the interview while I was getting a tattoo of Sting, and I loved it. Thank you very much for that as well. In case y'all don't know, which we talk about every week, I am currently writing for Screen Rant. I'm a contributor and staff writer. I do interviews, and I'm currently fielding music and network TV. But I had a chance to do a piece, a really cool piece about AEW Dynamite beating WCW Nitro in terms of episodes on TBS or on TNT rather. And when I started to work and game out the idea with AEW, shout out to Adam Hopkins, wonderful guy. He was like, hey, who, do you want to talk to?
I love Adam. I used to...
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I think you froze.
Oh, no. You froze on my end. So one of us froze for the other one. But no, I said I love Adam. I used to work with him in WWE.
Yeah. And he had wonderful things to say about you. He's like, oh man, the Blue Meanie. He's like, I love that guy. I was like, who doesn't love the Blue Meanie? But
I love it.
He's just a solid dude. So we were talking and I was like, I would really love to tell this story. And I really would love to talk to Tony Khan about it. So he ended up setting me up with Tony Khan. And while I'm doing research and doing everything else, I was like, maybe Shivani would be great. So I got a chance to talk to Tony Schiavone as well. And I asked them both about Sting and about, what it was like working with him and bringing him back and blah, 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 whatever. And so I'm sitting there and I thought, what if I could talk to Sting about this and get some quotes from him? Just maybe like one or two questions, whatever it is. So I met Sting's manager when I was in Vegas doing some of the WrestleMania After Dark. It was actually the night of Damian Priest's interview, I think is when I met him.
Awesome.
And just reached out, just was like, hey, I got a couple questions. Would he be interested? And obviously, as you know, Sting's pretty private guy. He usually doesn't do many interviews, and he agreed to do the interview. And so I had a chance to talk with him on the phone for about 6 or 7 minutes. It was absolutely wonderful. Just an incredible guy. Really, just probably I would say top three experience highlights in my media career. Awesome. He was just a wonderful guy, very open, very honest about his experience with AEW. And it was really, really a good time. So I texted him and I said, I sent him the article and I said, thank you for your time. He's going to be in Cherry Hill. He's like, make sure you come and see me. So me and Big Dan, we're going to go over and meet Sting this August. So, but if you haven't had a chance to read it, I'll put it in the show notes this week so you could take a look at it. It's up on Screen Rant's website. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. So looking forward to talking to him again soon. So hopefully something in the works in the pipeline. But thank you for your question and thank you for reading, Jesse. I appreciate that. And if you haven't done so already, I'd love to see the Sting tattoo that you got, as long as it's in like another, if it's in a good area to show, we would appreciate that. But Jesse said I'm meeting him at a con at the end of June in Kansas City. I'm excited. Yes, this is the last year he's doing con appearances. Like once he's done, that's it. So if you get a chance to go and see him and you're local, go and do it. Otherwise, it's the last time. But thank you for all your questions. As always, bringing them to us here. We appreciate it. And Meanie, I appreciate you,
sir,
for asking. And Meanie, you know what time it is, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here good sir, with all things when they're not listening to the program.
If you would like to follow if you would like to follow the Blue Meanie on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Blue Meanie BWO on all forms of social media. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. If you would like to support Mind of the Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. MadcapBeardCare.com. Get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil and Balm. Shout out to my boy Josh Thornton, who's doing an amazing job over there, taking care of cats in the neighborhood, rounds them up, takes them to the vet, and pays to have them taken care of at least better than he found them. So if you're a cat lover like myself, go to MadcapBeardCare.com. The Ultra Pro Wrestling video game coming to all majors consoles in 2024. Ultra Pro Wrestling, or it's 2025, my bad. Explains why I got all the wrong dates on my check. Ultra Pro Wrestling contains not only original characters by the amazing Meanie, but many real-world wrestlers, including myself and many others I'm trying not to spoil. For more information, go to ultraprowrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at UPW Video Game. That's ultraprowrestling.com or UPW Video Game on the old Twitter. Figure collections, Bone Crushing Wrestling Series 1's variants of the Blue Meanie are available now. All Series 1s can be ordered right now at shop.figurecollections.com. That's shop.figurecollections.com. Type Blue Meanie in the search bar. Select regular Blue Meanie or BWO Blue Meanie. Either way, there's no wrong choice. To have the Blue Meanie on your podcast, go to podstars.net. That's podstrz.net. The Blue Guy. Right for first, register your podcast, then book the Blue Guy, and then let's have a conversation over there at podstars.net. Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO for birthdays, holidays, and well wishes. Please book through the site. Don't book through the app. The app takes too much of your hard-earned money. But yeah, let's have a conversation over there at Cameo. Or let's make somebody's day a little bit brighter over there at Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO. And now that I've totally butchered that, Mr. Bernard, where can we find you, sir?
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. It's all good, my friend. I also am starting my first day with the new mouth here as well. If you are looking to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok. I'm starting to get back into the top game, Meanie. Trying, but it's not, it's a whole thing. But anyway, you can find me at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand, pal. So follow me there. As a reminder, I got my hair shaped up and my beard looking nice at the 10th Ward Barbershop this past weekend in downtown Lawrenceville in the outskirts of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go by there and stop by and see Kane and Jordan and the rest of the team at 10th Ward Barbershop. Schedule your appointment today at 10thwardbarbershop.com. Don't forget to pick up one of their brand new t-shirts. I just did a collaborative shirt with the guys over at Daily Bread. It's a Pittsburgh original over there. So go and check it out. Pick it up while supplies last. You can only get it in the shop. So go and see them today. Like we mentioned, Screen Rant is where all my good stuff is right now. Got a lot of cool things coming, including a piece that's going to be a retrospective of the 20-year anniversary of CKY's third album. An answer can be found with the drummer, Jess Margera. I'm going to be talking to him this week, put together a fun piece for that in the music section. Got a lot of cool shit coming too. So don't forget to check me out at screenrant.com, prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Pick up a shirt and keep the lights on at Casa de Meanie and the Barnard Home for Wayward and Troubled Youth. Don't forget to follow us on all forms of social media down here at Mind of the Meanie. And go and sign up today, friends. Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Tiers start at just $10 in Meanie. I don't know if you know this, sir. Maybe you do, because you were the guy who signed these. You start and join the Pod Squad today. You get an official Mind of the Meanie Pod Squad membership card signed in blue ink.
Nice.
By the Blue Guy himself. So go ahead and sign up today. If you want to check out the rest of our archive and all of our previous shows going all the way back to the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 2022. Before that, 2020, go and check it out at youtube.com/@Mind of the Meanie and go check it out today. We're having a fucking blast here, and we appreciate you watching and you listening for being here with us each and every week. You are the reason our show continues to be on the air, and every dollar you give us goes right back into the show. We appreciate you. Meanie, thank you so much each and every week for being here, my friend. Thank you for watching, and you could have been anywhere else Friday night, but you were here with us. And we appreciate you. For the Blue Meanie, I am Adam Bernard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind of the Meanie. Peace.
Blue World Order.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie is hosted and executively produced by the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard. It was mixed and engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional narration is provided by the executive voice, Sam Krebs. That's me. Our intro music was performed by the Swamp Candles. Our outro music was performed by Chikara. Additional musical accompaniment is performed by Enrichment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X or whatever, at Mind of the Meanie, and become part of the Pod Squad by going to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Find our entire show archive at mindofthemeanie.com. This has been a Butts Carlton media production. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
That was Blue Meanie's brain out.